So it seems that Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir is staying the night in Iran and is going to continue talks tomorrow, Thursday. Lebanon is very much in the frame and is part of the ceasefire negotiations. And all indications are that Netanyahu is being put under a lot of pressure to get that done, as the second round of talks hinge on this. And as we know, Trump is quite desperate to get out of this war, and it's actually becoming a really big problem for the Republicans up and down the ballot, so to speak. So the blockade is causing a lot of nightmares. There was some reporting that Sri Lanka's oil per barrel cost is $258. So as I was saying earlier, the strategy is to cause chaos in the world economy and come out of this unscathed. That's what Besant is probably telling Trump, that America will come out of this unscathed, and Asia will be hurt, Europe will be hurt, Russia will come out okay, the GCC will be hurt, and so forth. But there is no doubt that Americans are being hurt. And more Americans are saying, you're paying what for this war? And what are we getting out of it? And why is our price of our gas and diesel and groceries going up? And why can we not afford health care? Why can we not afford a house? All of that is happening. But okay, so it's a good thing that the general is staying back in Iran for a second round of talks, and so far all we know is that he's met with the foreign minister of Iran. We don't know who else he has met. So we're going to assume he is meeting Qalibaf, who is right now considered to be the team leader for the Iranian delegation and probably one of the most powerful men. So let us see how that goes. And like I said, Lebanon is very much in the frame, and Qalibaf today has said that they are not abandoning Lebanon. And I would like to read to you exactly what he himself has said. So about 50 minutes ago or more, Mr. Qalibaf posted, "The completion and consolidation of a comprehensive ceasefire in Lebanon will be the result of the resistance and steadfast struggle of the great Hezbollah and the unity of the axis of resistance. The United States must comply with the agreement. Resistance and Iran are one soul, both in war and in ceasefire. America should withdraw from Israel first mistake," as in Israel first mistake. That is Mr. Qalibaf posting, and it doesn't sound like he's about to let go of Lebanon or abandon the Lebanese. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea why that might be the case, beyond the fact that they're co-religionists, etc. I have been going on and on about the devastation in southern Lebanon. From what I am reading, what reports are coming out in dribs and drabs. What I want to do right now is play for you an interview on Al Jazeera by Dr. Thien Minh Din from Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières, who is right now based in southern Lebanon. And I'm going to let her speak for what she is seeing in southern Lebanon. It is very difficult to hear. It'll probably give everybody nightmares. But I think it is very important for all of us to hear what she is telling us and what she is reporting. And if you have any kids nearby, I would suggest that you not listen to this in their presence. Here goes.
Okay, let's now speak to Dr. Tien Minh Din, an emergency physician with Doctors Without Borders, working at the Jabal Amal Hospital, that's near Tyre in southern Lebanon, joining us live from there. Doctor, thank you for taking time out of your day to speak to us here at Al Jazeera. I'm sure you've been very busy. Can I ask for an update, really, on what's the medical and humanitarian situation where you are exactly?
We are south of the Litani River, and what we are seeing here is essentially a daily bombardment on civilians, and we are seeing daily civilian casualties and injured. In the last 24 hours, we've had so many traumatic amputations that we've run out of arterial tourniquets. Last week, there was a day where civilians actually returned to their homes on the south thinking potentially it could have been safe, and within a few hours of having returned, there was a 7-year-old girl whose family was bombed. She was one of the lucky ones. There were 8 members of the family who were left buried underneath rubble. And these are things that essentially we're seeing on a daily basis.
So, Doctor, you've just mentioned this, some of the amputations that you've had to carry out. What are the other cases that you are seeing? And in terms of resources, what can you do if you're running out at this point in the war?
Yeah, we are seeing traumatic brain injuries. We've had children whose bodies, whose intestines were riddled with shrapnel, just torn apart. In the same week, we've had children whose bowels were eviscerated, so their intestines were on the outside of their bodies, and often patients have a combination of all of the above injuries. And on top of their physical injuries, there's profound psychological trauma that comes with having your homes taken from you, being displaced, losing family members, and being injured. A few days ago, we had to console a boy who was orphaned by an airstrike.
And Doctor, people in Lebanon have been through so much over the last few decades. They already were under an Israeli occupation. There was a civil war. We've also seen an economic crisis. There was the Beirut explosion. So this just kind of makes the situation so much worse when it comes to the humanitarian crisis. So as a doctor, what do you think needs to be done to ensure that people are being helped in Lebanon as this war continues? What is needed, perhaps financially or even resources exactly?
I think we need to ensure that supplies are able to get in. Every single bridge bar one has been bombed, and the supplies are actually afraid to come down to these hospitals now because they know it's not safe. And what I also think we need is for people to pay attention to what's going on, because what we are seeing daily here on the ground is this kind of normalization of a world where civilians can be bombed, civilians can be killed. We are seeing paramedics being bombed. Just a couple of days ago, the Lebanese Red Cross station was bombed, and we received casualties from that. And we're seeing the mass displacement and forced evacuation orders of 1/5 of the entire population of Lebanon.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us there. Dr. Tien Minh Din, an emergency physician with Doctors Without Borders, speaking to us from southern Lebanon.
How are we doing this again? How are we doing this again? By the same perpetrator. How are we doing this again? How is the world community allowing a genocidal regime to do it again? Every day. This is what is happening in southern Lebanon every day. And today the IDF is saying that all of southern Lebanon is a kill zone. So every man, woman, and child who happens to be Shia, I don't know how they're going to tell, will be killed. This is what is happening. How are we doing this again?